Well, hello and welcome back. I hope you've enjoyed yourself since the last episode. And I think it's time that we checked out the 1.4.3 Don't Starve crossover. Now, I don't know a whole lot about this new update, which puts me more into the frame of mind I was hoping to go into most of this playthrough with, of completely blind, or near completely blind. I've sort of lost that sense of not knowing anything about the update as the time has gone by. I just haven't been doing this frequently enough to justify not keeping up to date with what is in the 1.4 update. I still don't know everything, but I have absorbed a fair bit through osmosis. But I have absorbed very little about this new update, aside from knowing that there is a boss. I do know it requires demonite ore to craft the summon, and flink's fur. Now, I should have lenses, but I'll check that, and we shall go hunt for flink's fur. Somewhere in here there should be some lenses, or maybe I used them all. That is okay. It just means that we shall also kill any demon eyes that we find along the way. We won't find any at the moment, of course, because it's daytime. So yes, I don't know very much at all about this update. I do know there's a boss, and I know it's snow themed. The Deerclops from Don't Starve Together. Now, I have never played Don't Starve or Don't Starve Together. That will probably affect my impression of this update. I may be a little bit underwhelmed. I won't have any of those strong associations that those of you who have played Don't Starve Together may have. On the other hand, I may be thoroughly impressed where you may not be, particularly if it turns out to not be quite so faithful to the game it is crossing over with. I don't think that's going to be the case. From what I understand, the developers of Terraria are quite fond of Don't Starve, so they put in a lot of effort to keep this crossover faithful. And of course, they did work with the original developers of Don't Starve and Don't Starve Together. Here we go, first flinks. Now, I don't know what the drop rates are for flink's fur. I don't suppose we have in the bestiary enough information. Flinks, snow flinks. No, we don't yet have enough information. Haven't killed enough. That is okay. We shall keep going. An interesting thing to note, since I had the magic sword, enchanted sword, when initially exploring this area, I didn't actually need to light up most of it. Ooh, hang on. Do we fight the nymph? Oh, too late. We've not been given the choice. So yes, I'm actually needing to go through and place torches along the way, despite this being area that I've already traversed. Because of course the projectile from an enchanted sword provides light, which you can use to navigate by. Here we go, flink's fur 3. Okay, that's pretty decent. That gives us 6 already. I'll probably get enough to fight the boss a couple of times. Here we go. Okay then, and I think that should do us. Let's head home. And... ooh, nighttime, excellent. Because of course the other thing we need is a lens. So if we just head out a little bit away from the mown grass, then we should be able to find some demon eyes. My inventory is a little bit full. Oh, we don't need a solitary snow block. Although we got zombies, we don't want them. Head back a little bit away from the corruption. Almost called it the Crimson there. Far too used to playing Crimson. Oops, and now it's daytime. Well, do demon eyes spawn in the graveyard biome? Let us find out. Where is it? Here we go. You can get demon eyes in a graveyard biome, so don't need a solitary dirt block. Just hang around for a few more of these. 2 will have to do. We'll head back, and now we just need to check. I believe you need a demon altar. Yes, so we'll take the flinx fur. Okay, you only need 3 flinx fur, not 5. Let's quick stack everything. Now I need to find all those lenses again. I didn't realize that I had some over here. Lenses are one of those items where you always think, oh, I've got so many of these, I won't need to keep track of them. And then all of a sudden you need them and you can't find any. But it turns out we've got 27. So we didn't need to go hunting for lenses at all. Now, my impression from the crafting materials required and from what I've heard about the leaks is that the Deerclops is approximately at the same point in progression as the Eater of Worlds and the Brain of Cthulhu. I won't be changing out my shadow armor, and I don't think I'll be changing out any of my accessories. I won't be using the obsidian shield. I'll probably keep the worm scarf, but if I do find the fight a bit easy, that's probably one of the things that you wouldn't be expected to have, along with the additional defense. I will, however, change out my weapon. So I've kept the enchanted sword. I'll be fighting mostly with that, and I will use my gold sword, not gold sword, golden bow, instead of the bee bow. So I think that's going to be a suitable weapon lineup. I won't be using bee nades, and I won't be using the summon that I have, wherever it may be. Interesting. I may have put that. Yes, I did. So I won't be using the Hornet summon. I might take the Vile Fawn, just in case it turns out to be useful in terms of other magic weapons from the same point in progression. I don't know that I have any. Especially since I'm not overtly familiar with the mage class. It's the sort of thing that I only dip into for the odd weapon or two. Mage class has a lot of the same problems I have with the ranger class, being aiming. But then there's also the added issue of mana. Mana is perfectly easy to come by if you've got the right accessories, but because my accessories tend to be for a more melee setup, it doesn't help me with the keeping on track of mana. And of course I don't think I have a heap of mana potions around as well. I won't take an Iron Skin potion, or maybe I should. No, I think I'll skip the Iron Skin potion, but I will take a Swiftness potion. And I will also take the Archery potion, because I'm using the gold bow. I think that's all I really need for the potions. Healing potions I've got plenty of. There's no room in there, that's okay. And yes, I don't think I need any other potions for this fight. I also won't be really building in an arena. I'll just be fighting it on the ground, and we will see how I go. The first stop, of course, is to craft the summoner item, and we'll take 2 of them, and then head over to the ice biome. So if we buff up and summon in the Deerclops, let's see what this fight is like. Okay, then coming from this direction. Ooh. I did not expect glowing purple. Okay, I can't seem to damage the Deerclops. Here we go. Okay, so apparently dodging skills are a must. And it would appear to be that you can only damage the Deerclops at specific times, so my dodging skills are really not very good. Oh, hang on, I think I get it now. This is a melee boss. You're supposed to be in close, but obviously not so close that you get hit by every attack. My projectiles aren't working. Hang on. Is that a debuff? Oh, here we go. Well, this boss is much more difficult than I was expecting. Oh. That was very interesting. Well, I'm not sure how... We still have a boss bar. Does that mean that he isn't despawned? Again, very interesting. I'll take another swiftness potion, and this time I will take an iron skin and a regen, I think. And a regen. And yeah, let's head back and see what we can do. A boss that doesn't despawn when you leave it though, or when you die. You could teleport home to your nurse, heal up and head back in. Which would save a lot on buffs. Now, I'm going to have to work out, oops, how to get better at dodging. I want to get a little bit further away from the corruption. Oh. Okay, so this is a boss all about balancing your position. You don't want to be on the ground, you don't want to be too far away, and you don't want to be too high. Because when you get high, the hands spawn. When you get too far away, you can't hit him. And when you're on the ground, you get hit by the ice spikes. Oh. And of course, the hand shaking, the shaking screen doesn't help. Ooh. Hang on, I didn't buff up. Oops. Let's try that strategy of teleporting home, healing and heading back. It's a bit of a cheese, really. But you know, what's life if you can't cheese a few bosses? I think that after defeating the boss, I'll try putting in a few platforms and seeing if they can help against the ice spikes. Ooh, don't move too fast. No, no, I want to go this way. Tell you what, now that I've got the hang of jumping before getting hit by the ice spikes, oops. Okay, I say that and then immediately fail to jump before getting hit by the ice spikes. Oh, here we go. Now I'm hurting. So I'm a little bit slow at the moment. I'm not sure why. I don't appear to have any debuffs. Maybe I'm just panicking. Or maybe it's all this knockback. Meaning that I don't have as much control over my movement as I would like. But I have to say, this is a very, very interesting fight. Ooh. I am a big fan of this fight. Of course, my pre-existing love of melee combat probably helps. I am enjoying this fight. Getting hang of the movement required is a challenge at first, but once you've got that, just all this dancing around, trying to keep away from the ice spikes, but also not trigger any of the not getting too far away so that you're triggering the additional hands or triggering his invulnerability. Oh, that is not only a decently challenging fight, but it's very satisfying if you get your patterns of movement to the stage where you're dodging most of the attacks. Very fun indeed, and I love this. It's glowing. So I think let's head home to open this, and we'll clear some space in the inventory. There we go, a little bit of space, and let's see what we get. Okay then, so we have got a radio thing. Allows the user to see the world differently. Ooh, very interesting. So it's all sepia toned. I'm guessing this is the aesthetic of Don't Starve and Don't Starve Together. It does look amazing. It's a little bit dark though, so it's probably not very suitable for video. What did we get? We got an umbrella. Oh, and it comes with a little cloud. How nice. And a fleeting bone helm. So this summons shadow hands to attack your foes. I've got a headache just looking at it. What should we replace that with? Let's quickly swap out the worm scarf and find an enemy. What else did we get? We got Lucy the axe, 27 melee damage, 150% axe power. How does that compare? That is a lot of axe power compared to the gold axe, so definitely using Lucy the axe from now on. Ah. This is perfect chopping leather. Oh, does... Oh, get away. Die, die. Okay, I don't know Don't Starve well enough to fully understand the reference. Obviously it is a reference. It is a bit cute. It might get a little bit annoying, but you know what? I'll keep it. It is fun. Get to see what all the different options for dialogue there are. And what else did we get? I don't think we did get anything else that time. The radio thing, Lucy the axe, and the vanity item. Okay, let's do some experimentation. Oh, here we go. Here's an item that we got that I missed. An eye bone. Summons a living chest to store your items. Is that a pet? It is a pet. Let us... What have we got? Here we go. Come on. Ah, it is another another piggy bank access. So it is the same storage as your piggy bank, not the same as your safe. Would actually be interesting because we've already got the money trough in order to access your piggy bank inventory from a, you know, moving location. I suppose with the safe it's not such a big deal because you can put it on any block. But, you know, it might be interesting if instead of accessing your piggy bank, your whatever it is, your eye bone accessed your safe inventory instead. Okay then, let's activate this fight again and see what interesting things we can learn. I want to see how it interacts with the platforms. Let's zoom out a bit on the mini-map. Here we go. It's off in this direction. So, oh, here we go. I'm using the wrong sword, that's why. Okay, so spikes can generate on platforms, which actually makes them a bit of a disadvantage in this fight. Let us head away a little bit, because I just want to swap out my bow. Okay then, I won't be swapping out my bow on account of it not being here. That's actually something that you can do. If you're fighting from one side where there's a drop-off, then these spikes will generate below you. Let's see, which is the fastest exit? So it's interesting to look at the attack patterns. He throws the snowballs when you're away and on the ground. Presumably as a means to get you to keep him close again. It is interesting that the bees are not targeting the Deerclops. And having noticed that, I didn't notice any obvious enraged effects, but if I check the footage, the damage dealt by me and dealt by him may be different. So I'll check that in editing, and I guess I'll put a little pop-up on the screen. However, let us see what summoning does to him. And we just have to wait for him to come along. So the summons do still target him. It's just the bees that aren't. Does make me wonder why. It strikes me that the Deerclops is quite a safe boss to fight if you're a bit stuck in progression, because it doesn't despawn when you die. It means that if you're feeling a bit underpowered, you can take as long as you'd like to fight him. He's not going to despawn because it's become daytime. He's not going to despawn because you've died. And just a pretty easy way to get a bit of a power up. Well, not exactly easy. You do have to. Let's find a small grove and just go nuts. You do still actually have to defeat him. Let's see. Let's head over this way. Yeah, so the bees are doing absolutely no damage at all. I wonder if that's a bug maybe, or if it is something specific in like projectiles. it is clearly a melee focused boss. Let's try out some other projectiles. Try the boomstick and the vile fawn. And of course I wasn't actually paying enough attention during the first fight to notice if the magic swords projectiles were doing any damage or not. Sorry Lucy, I'm not going to chop any trees. Not right now. There's a damage stack up, 27, 31. Oops. Okay then. Okay, once again, I'm not noticing any damage. And I'm not noticing any damage from that as well. I don't normally get this experimental when fighting bosses, but it's just such an interesting challenge of having a boss that you can only defeat using one damage type. It is something that I've thought about for creating the mod that I plan on creating, having bosses designed to prioritize specific fighting styles, or like fighting classes. So you might have a boss where it tries to encourage you to fight using melee or fight using mage weapons. Let's see if the spiky balls do anything. And they're not, are they? And let us see what else we get. So we got the bone helm again, and the umbrella again, and the radio thing again. What's we got? Weather pane. Ooh, this looks interesting. 13 magic damage. Ignores 10 points of enemy defense. That's very powerful, especially in early game. Bounces off walls. Hangs around for a while. Hovers around enemies. And of course, there is one more significant reason why I do like this update. And that is because for this mod I'm planning to make, one of the things I've been looking at is areas where there's just a small gap within the base game. And one of those areas was no pre-hard mode bosses for the desert and the ice biomes. And I had a pretty good idea of what I want to do for the desert biome, but for the ice biome I was a bit lost at what would fit in or what I wanted to do. But now of course there's no need to do it because Read Logic have done it for me. So yes, that was my look at the new Don't Starve crossover in Terraria. Pretty impressed. I enjoyed the boss fight. There were some design choices I might not have made were I doing it, but it was still pretty fun, especially for me as someone who prefers melee fighting over ranged or magic. I am going to try and push out a few episodes in relatively quick succession, particularly for me. And yeah, yes, hopefully I get to that. Next episode we shall do the Dungeon Defenders crossover event. Get that out the way and build that second jungle base. And then from there we should be good to go into hard mode. So yes, that'll be all from me for now. I will see you in the next episode. Bye.